Alberta Primetime with Michael Higgins.
Welcome to Alberta Primetime. Ahead tonight, our politics panel on ridings, representation, and where Pierre Poilievre might run next. But first, weighing the outcome.
People will say, what does this mean to the Canada's trade relationship with China? From an agricultural perspective, this gets us back to where we were.
Saskatchewan's Premier freshly home after joining the Prime Minister's trade mission to China, landing lower tariffs on canola and other agricultural commodities in exchange for concessions on Chinese electric vehicles. News our Premier also welcomed, posting in the wake of the deal, trade tariffs are harmful and only serve to raise consumer prices, limit choice and innovation, and damage businesses and producers. Rick Christiaanse also took part in the Canadian delegation and the CEO of Invest Alberta joins us now. Rick, welcome to Alberta Primetime.
Michael, great to talk to you.
All right. So you were on the ground. So in weighing the success of the trade mission, how far do you see this outcome going to charting a new economic path forward for Canada beyond reliance on the U.S. market?
Absolutely, and I think Premier Moe was absolutely correct in the early points that he was making in that we want China to buy products from Alberta. Canola, obviously very important to us, but so are other agricultural products. And so it was good to get back and chart a path and work with our friends in China forward to make sure that we reestablish those relationships and continue to get investment from the Chinese. Most people in Alberta probably know that the Chinese invest largely in our economy, and in oil and gas, their investment is well over $60 billion, which represents almost 50% of all the money that China invests in Canada. So certainly an important trade investment partner for us.
Well, and that Alberta relationship is already existing as we understand it. But how big of a shift is this from a federal government perspective?
It is significant. You're absolutely right. My team has been on the ground in Alberta or in China for years. We have people located in both Hong Kong and in Beijing. The Alberta government has people on the street as well. And so we've been working very hard at maintaining and building relationships. But quite frankly, for the last number of years, we have been lone rangers in that market. Alberta has been present. Most other provinces have not. And the federal government, of course, had its issues. So it's been a challenging environment to operate in. And the Fed's now coming on side is incredibly helpful.
Okay, so what role did you play in this delegation?
We sat in on some of the meetings, and we also made sure that a number of investors that we're currently working with who are planning to come to Alberta, and actually one of them will be in Alberta in the week of February 14th, we wanted to make sure that we had those clients in front of the Prime Minister. So normally you schedule 10, 15-minute meetings with them. It's more of a meet and greet. Most of our clients ended up spending 45 minutes or even longer with the Prime Minister to chat through what they're thinking about and how they're planning to move forward.
You obviously have an understanding of the marketplace there. So where does Alberta land on the radar of Chinese leadership? How much interest do they have in what is happening here?
They are the largest buyer of oil out of the new pipeline that opened last year, the Trans Mountain. And they want to buy more oil because the reality is they were buying oil from Venezuela. So number one, they see oil as really important for the growth of their economy, and they see us, Alberta, as one of the opportunities to move forward with. Secondly, in petrochemicals, they have always wanted to do more business with Alberta, produce more things here for their market back there. And so we've been working with them on that as well. Thirdly, agriculture. Canola is one product, but there are many other products that they want to buy from Canada. And with all of the uncertainty that currently resides in the world, especially the uncertainty being created by our friends down south, dealing with a reliable Alberta, which has predictable products, high quality, is something that they want to continue to build on and continue to work on.
Maybe on that uncertainty front, what degree of interest or concern was maybe raised by the Chinese over momentum building around the separatist movement here in Alberta and petition efforts for a referendum in that regard? Could that impact or influence investment movement?
You know what, Michael? That's a great question. I get asked that a lot, and it certainly is of interest in Alberta. There was a little bit of conversation about it in Europe when I was there last summer. There has been no conversation in Asia around the separation concerns at all. And when we do explain it to people and we kind of walk them through what's happening, how the referendum's going to work, what percentage of Albertans are thinking about separation, people are pretty comfortable with what we're explaining to them and how we're working it through.
Okay. As you mentioned, there's obviously interest in Alberta energy, Alberta oil. We know the Alberta and federal government signed the MOU in November. As yet, though, does not appear to be a company willing to step up to the pipeline plate. If it is that China is seriously interested in buying more Alberta oil, what then is the likelihood Chinese investment could be drawn into a new pipeline?
That's a great project that Premier and her team are working very hard on. So I'm not going to get in the middle of those discussions, but I am going to say that the Chinese stand ready to participate in whatever format we would like them to. And so it's really up to us to decide the level of engagement that we want to move forward with, which I'm sure is something the provincial and the federal government are thinking about on a daily basis.
Okay, so outside the energy sector, what other areas of our economy, our Alberta economy, stand to potentially benefit from these talks?
Agriculture absolutely does. But I think we have to be smart, and Premier Mo and I were chatting a little bit about this, and that is that at the end of the day, it's good to be back in China, and it's good for our canola farmers to be able to sell their products into that market. But let's make sure that we also diversify and continue to develop other markets so that we don't run the risk of getting into this situation again when we're reliant on one particular country. Pork and beef, high on the list as well, and there's some movement on both of those fronts as we head into the next few months. We'll have to see how that plays out in terms of what actually gets put in, because it's a very complex file, but we see further opportunities for that. Pulses are very popular in India, and that's been our primary market for that. But there's also significant demand for that product in the Chinese marketplace, and we would love to sell more of that product in. So there's work being done around that.
All right, Rick, you mentioned early on about maybe a Chinese delegation coming here in February. So what are you looking for or anticipating now where Chinese investment in Alberta is concerned?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm really excited about. The team's been working so hard, but there's been no reason to really bring Chinese investors here. So individual investors have a schedule that we've created for them that starts February 14th, and we hope to make some initial announcements that are primarily around investment and private equity funds that are Chinese in nature, either from Hong Kong or the mainland, that want to start investing in Alberta, and we're going to hopefully welcome them. Then in rapid successions, we have some petrochemical companies coming into town. We have some agricultural companies coming, and we also have some people that are really intrigued by the Four Seasons Resort Act that the government passed late last year. It allows for additional development in provincial parks, hotels, destination resorts, and the Chinese are really good at developing those kind of resorts all over the world. So there's a high level of interest in that. So those four sections are probably where we're going to continue to focus, and we have been focused for a number of years.
All right, a lot on the go. Rick, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate your time this evening. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks for your time. Talk soon.
Rick Christiaanse is the CEO of Invest Alberta.